Hi, today's movie is the 1924 silent Austrian horror film The Hands of Orlac. Now, this one was directed by the same director who brought us The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and also features the star of Caligari, Conrad Veidt. I have heard great things about it. Let's have a look. Now, for copyright reasons, I can't include the score on this video, but the score on the version I'm watching from YouTube is fantastic. Ooh. I'm so sorry I can't include the score in this video because the score is brilliant. Wow, that looks fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen any night driving shots in a silent movie before. Very well staged. Beautifully lit. Very effective use of dramatic lighting in this train wreck scene. I'm loving the epic scale of this crash scene. It almost has a newsreel-like quality to it. Great setup. Man injured in a train wreck, needing new hands, and an executed criminal on his way to the hospital. I'm loving the naturalistic style of this film. It does have a sort of documentary look to the way it's filmed. She's playing it a little bit big. The doctor seems a little bit perturbed by her overacting. Great shot. Conrad Veidt was such a fantastic actor. He could just convey so much with only his eyes. The pace of this film is a little bit slow. This is a lot sexier than most hospital scenes. What is she up to? Who is that? That was creepy. Conrad Veidt's face is just so fascinating. There's a great sense of horror in this scene. The horror of finding a body part that's suddenly no longer your own. What is this? That is very well done. Wow. That was brilliant. No one does Haunted quite like Conrad Veidt. It's interesting. I think this film kind of sits halfway between the sort of German expressionist style and a more naturalistic style. Some of these shots remind me a lot of Nosferatu. And yet the settings are very naturalistic. Wow. Oh. Well, his wife won't like that. That's such a brilliant detail, the old wedding band not fitting on the new hand. Now, who is this sinister figure watching them? This is really creepy, this idea that his body is completely alien to him now. Conrad Veidt has this amazing ability to make his body look like a sort of marionette, which I think was very effective in Dr. Caligari and equally effective here. I'm finding all the slow walking a little bit frustrating. Some interestingly similar themes in this one to Conrad Veidt's other great performance in The Man Who Laughs. Now, who is this creepy guy who's watching them? Wow! What an amazing shot. The other thing that's very novel about this as a horror film is that we're used to seeing stories about possession in which someone is possessed by a demon or an evil spirit. But this is a story about someone who's possessed by a transplanted body part. It's very original. It seems way ahead of its time. I have seen programs recently about how some transplant recipients do seem to inherit some personality traits from the donors. It's not as far-fetched as it seems. I am enjoying this, but I think some modern viewers might struggle with the leisurely pace of this film. I'm almost an hour in at this point, and apart from the transplant, nothing much has actually happened. Veidt was such an incredible physical actor. I'm kind of loving the stagey lighting in this. Wow, look at his face. I think Mrs. Orlac's acting is much more in that expressionist style, whereas I think Conrad Veidt kind of is able to straddle those worlds of naturalism and expressionism. Who is this guy? Oh, so it was the maid writing to this guy before. But who is he? Is this Vasseur? The ghost? More slow walking. I think the running time of this film might have been reduced considerably by just more quick walking. It shouldn't take you a minute to climb 6 stairs. So the ghost of the executed killer is forcing her to seduce Orlac? I'm not 100% clear on what's happening. Walk more quickly. Wow, this is all kinds of creepy. It is a really disturbing idea that these possessed hands are sort of turning him into this automaton. See, that's very expressionistic. Kind of taps into the horror of body dysmorphia as well. More slow walking. So that's a little bit of a Caligari-like set with all the weird lines. Everyone walk faster. Wow, that's a great detail. Even his handwriting is now alien to him. What is the backstory with Orlac's father? Why is he so evil? Just walk at a normal pace. Oh. Oh no. That's the knife that he'd hidden in the piano before. Oop. But his fingerprints will be on it. He's doing pretty well if he can see fingerprints with a magnifying glass and identify them. Oh, poor Conrad Veidt. Vasseur has been dead for years. Okay, so this is now years after the transplant? I thought it was only a few months. Is it Vasseur? Is it the ghost of Vasseur? Oh, why is he hiding his hands under that cloak? Maybe he has no hands because he's the ghost. Wow. Oh no! No way! So Vasseur had his head transplanted onto someone else and he's still alive. I did not see that coming. This is super creepy. Wow, what a great horror concept. And why does he have those creepy prosthetic hands? Oh. So Vasseur is still alive and he killed the dad. No. Orlac did it. This is complex and disturbing. Okay, so it sounds like Vasseur has framed Orlac. I was expecting a straightforward story of possession, but this is presenting something a lot more complex. Was it all in his mind all along? The clever thing to do would be for Orlac to kill Vasseur with his own knife, and then Vasseur's fingerprints would be on the knife, and it would look like he'd killed himself. It's a very bold narrative choice to have the viewer at this point still guessing what's true and what's in his imagination. See, and if Orlac's executed, Vasseur might get his hands back again. Oh, he's not Vasseur at all. So he was totally gaslighting Orlac. That's pretty evil. Very clever. I don't know how you secretly make wax casts of someone's fingertips though. Twist. So Vasseur wasn't the killer after all. Orlac doesn't have the hands of a murderer. It was all in his mind. Conrad Veidt does have rather beautiful hands, I have to say. Well, The Hands of Orlac wasn't at all what I expected. I was expecting something more along the lines of a conventional horror story about the possessed hands making him commit murders, etc. But I think really what it is what would now be called a psychological thriller. I do think modern viewers might struggle with the slow pace of this film. You have to view it more as like a surreal, eerie dream. If you can go along with the eerie and dreamlike quality of this film, I think there is a lot to enjoy in it. Mainly the performance of Conrad Veidt, who brings such a sympathetic and poignant quality to the role of Orlac. Conrad Veidt really is the master at playing these tormented and haunted characters, and he expresses so much just through his eyes. The rest of the actors are a bit of a mixed bag, and it does tend to veer into that more big and mimey expressionistic style. I think you probably enjoy this film if you approached it more as a curiosity, as an eerie and surreal dream. But if you're expecting something more like a horror film as we know it today, you may not be satisfied. I think this film does sit a little bit uneasily between those two styles of the expressionistic period like Caligari and the more realistic style that we're used to today. Nevertheless, it is an interesting film. There's lots of twists and turns. I honestly didn't know where it was going, and it does have a lot of psychological stuff in it, which I thought was pretty interesting. If you like a film like Carl Dreyer's Vampire, it does have a similar quality to that in it. It's like a dream, and it's very kind of leisurely in its pace. Having seen this, I'm really curious to see the subsequent adaptation, Mad Love, starring Peter Lorre, which I've also heard good things about. Thank you so much for watching today, and I hope you'll join me next time. I'll see you then. Bye.